Hey y'all, this is Bridget London and the Highwaywoman Radio Show, coming to you from Austin, Texas.
Yes, here she comes. A highway woman. She comes with music for your soul, and then moves along. She moves along.
If you're just joining us, this is Bridget London and the Highwaywoman Radio Show, and I am so excited. I have one of my favorite songwriters on the show, Mr. Darrell Scott, and he is promoting a brand new album with his songwriting partner and a musical cohort, Tim O'Brien. They have a brand new album out called We're Usually a Lot Better Than This. I love self-deprecating humor. And we're going to talk to him about this album and some other things as well. So, hi, Darrell. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, hello.
Hello. Man, you know, you're such a great musician, all-around musician, as well as songwriter and singer, and you have so much soul in your playing. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about your music, and then we'll go into the new album, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about, I hear so much, as I said, so much soul, and you always pay reverence to a lot of artists where I think you found your inspiration. Even on your website, you have some of your favorite songs. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you first discovered music was for you and who really turned you on musically growing up?
Well, I grew up in a musical family, so my dad played, all my brothers played, my mom would sing. So it was kind of second nature growing up in this family to do something, you know, around the house or when people were playing to grab, you know, an instrument. So I did too. So I started on bass because I had an older brother who was a great guitarist even at 14. And so that meant I was the bass player of the group. So I really didn't even come into guitar, you know, until, you know, I guess my mid-teens or early teens. So I was the bass player of the group. And my dad was totally into country music, 100%, my mom as well. So that's all that, he would listen to. That's all that he would play. So I had really a training of country music. And as I grew up in the 60s and 70s, I was listening to country music because that's, you know, how I was employed with my dad's band. But I was also listening to there was a great time as singer-songwriters were, you know, starting. I guess it was just such a higher numbers of great singer-songwriters with record deals. So, you know, James Taylor and Gordon Lightfoot and Joni Mitchell and all that, Jackson Brown. And then so I was just kind of following all the stuff that was interesting to me. And I really had more of a focus and a wish to be in the singer-songwriter world than just, you know, a country guitar player kind of world or something.
Right, right. And it's interesting because you know, your music could, you know, it goes all the way from bluegrass, country, Americana, and I even say soul. I mean, it covers such a wide variety. And now tell me a little bit about how did you connect with Tim O'Brien? The chemistry between the two of you is really pretty magical. Is that long time friendship now, Darrell?
Yeah, we've been buddies for, I would bet 15 years, something like that. And we met as two songwriters in a room put together by our publishers in Nashville. I knew of Tim. I'd seen his band, you know, Hot Rise, Red Knuckles and the Trailblazers and all that. So I was aware of him, but we never really met. So we met in a songwriting room in Nashville with the idea of writing a song together, and we actually did. And really the next time I think that we really saw each other again was at a Christmas party that Sam Bush puts together. Sam puts together sort of a pick and party, and I was at it and Tim was at it, and we sort of, what happens at those is you kind of go off into different parts of the house and basically jam with all the great players that are there and kind of pair off or put a four-piece together or something, and that's really what it is. And so we reconnected there and realized, we really have something going on together. And then we booked a gig in Nashville, just a simple, Bluebird gig, and we didn't rehearse or do anything. We just kind of showed up, and really, we saw that we had a real magic thing together really from that. Once we started really playing together even at all, it was immediate that, we got the playing, we got the singing and harmony stuff, and we've got the songwriting love as well. So, we just kind of played a lot together, for probably 3 or 4 years. And then we quit playing with each other and did our own things and all the other stuff we're up to. And this live recording is really from 2 different years, 2005 and 2006, where we'd really kind of stopped playing with each other and we're busy doing other stuff. That we did a benefit for a school, called Arthur Morgan School in, just north of Asheville, North Carolina, that Tim had a kid going there and I had a kid going there, and we decided to do, 2 shows over, 2-year period, as a benefit for the school so they could, raise a little money or something like that. And that's really what these recordings are from.
Well, and that's wonderful. I think the reason that people respond to you, and even just in how you're saying the spontaneous act of getting together and you end up with a live record here again, is that in an environment that can sometimes be contrived with the songwriting appointments and things like that, and you're talking about how y'all met, you two are so authentic in everything that you do, and you approach it from the purest place, and I think that's what people respond to so much in your music,
Oh, thank you. Because I tell you, that sort of authentic place or pure or whatever, that's where we want to come from. I mean, Tim and I both know how to, whip something into shape or rehearse it and all that regular old stuff. But that's not really all that interesting. Well, it's not what the two of us do. The two of us actually shine in this place where there isn't rehearsal and you don't know how long the solo is going to be and you don't know who's singing lead or singing tenor on this one. But there's also what Tim and I both have is that we're fearless, completely fearless when it comes to musical, things or expressions or whatever. There's literally songs on this recording that we'd never played before. And then there were songs on here we played, dozens and dozens of times over the years. And when me and Tim, one of us will know it, so one just takes off and leads the next guy through it.
That's to me where the true art lies, and I love that so much in what you're doing. And you're such great songwriters on your own, but some of my favorite cuts on here are your arrangements of other artists, which I think is really cool too on this album, which we want to remind folks is called We're Usually a Lot Better Than This. I love that. It's cute.
Oh, good.
There's a few like you do, from Townes Van Zandt you cover on here to Hank Williams, The House of Gold. Oh, that's beautiful. And even Keith Whitley, Gordon Lightfoot, as well as some of your own music. Let's play a track, a song that you're famous for, Long Time Gone. Why don't we play that one for everybody, and then we'll come right back.
Fantastic.
Sisters and nurse at the old folks home. Mama's still cooking too much for supper, and me have been a long time gone. Yeah, long time gone. I ain't hold a rose since I don't know when. Long time gone, and it ain't coming back again. Now till you plays that old church piano, sitting out on her daddy's farm. She always thought we'd be together, Lord. I never meant to do her harm.
All right, that was Darrell Scott and Tim O'Brien, a live cut from their new album, We're Usually a Lot Better Than This, a song that Darrell Scott wrote that he's pretty famous for. You all know, Long Time Gone. And we're talking about some of the cuts on the album, and as I mentioned prior to that song, there's some really great covers on here. Tell me a little bit about doing this version of Hank Williams, The House of Gold.
Yeah, House of Gold, first of all, it's a great song. It's a really great song. And then Tim and I first did it one night, the first night we ever played together in Nashville at the Bluebird. He just took off on it, and I was right behind him, and it's just one of those things that fell together immediately. I mean, I'm not rehearsing. I'm talking about being on stage, and I just sort of followed him. I knew the song, you know, every word of it, too. So we just started singing like an old duo group, you know, or from the 50s or 60s style of great country music. And that just kind of fell into place where Tim would sing a line and then I would harmonize or echo it. And that's kind of become a real favorite when Tim and I play together, is to do House of Gold, you know, with no instruments and see what happens tonight, you know, because each time is going to be a little bit different, and I'm always interested in what that difference is going to be this time.
Right. Well, it's absolutely beautiful. I'd like to play that cut now for everyone.
Cool.
Here is House of Gold, folks.
You better get down, get down on your knees and pray. I'd rather be in a deep, dark grave. And know that my poor soul was saved. Then live in this world in a house of gold, and deny my God, and lose my soul. Some people cheat, they steal.
All right, and that was House of Gold. We've got Darrell Scott on the show. I'm so excited if you're just joining us. And his new album with Tim O'Brien, this live album that they recorded in outside of Asheville, North Carolina, at 2 benefits that they did there for a school that their sons were attending. This live recording is just wonderful as you're getting a chance to hear folks. And I actually wanted to talk about this one that I believe that you wrote with your father, so to speak, with you put some music to his words, is that correct? With a memory like mine. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that is true. My dad wrote the lyric to this song in 1964. I know that he was thinking that, and at that time he had 4 sons. I was the third oldest, and but I was just 5 years old. But I know he thought he was going to be sending his boys off to Vietnam, and so I know that that's where the inspiration for this lyric came from for him. And I had this lyric, but I never knew my dad's tune to it. I know most of it. I know all of his tunes for his songs, but this was one I didn't know. And so I put a tune to it. I was writing it on banjo, and then I thought it needed a last verse to sort of tie it all up. So I added the last verse to it, and so basically it was a co-write with my dad. That
is beautiful. Let's play that now. This is With a Memory Like Mine by Darrell and Wayne Scott.
I watched him leave that Friday morning. It was in the month of May. I told my son to be a good soldier, but return again someday. He did return just 1 year later. Lord, I'll not forget that day. The baggage car is where he traveled, in a casket where he lay.
All right, this is Bridget London. We're back here on the Highwaywoman Radio Show. I'm just so honored to have Darrell Scott on the show. He's an inspiration to songwriters and musicians everywhere, as is Tim O'Brien, a tremendous musician and writer himself. And here's a song, let's tell a little bit about Climbing Up a Mountain. Now, that leads off the album.
Well, since I had 2 different years of shows to choose from. You know, I could choose anything I wanted or whatever felt right to be the opening. And in fact, in the show, that was one of the last songs we did. But with the magic of recording, of course, I could make it the opening song for this. And I thought it was a great opener. It's a great song of Tim's. He had it, played it a lot in his band called Hot Rise. I just always thought it was a great song. Same thing on that one. I sort of followed behind vocally, you know, like in the tradition of the Louvins or Johnny and Jack, you know, old country singing, you know, where there would be a duo or a brother duo or something. It's just such a great song. There's not much way to mess it up. It's just an amazing song.
All right, here is Climbing Up a Mountain from the brand new album, We're Usually a Lot Better Than This, by Darrell Scott and Tim O'Brien, live.
Those days are gone, those days are gone, those days are gone, those days are gone, they're just gone. Still close my eyes, even though those days are gone. But I always had what I needed, always had me a place to go. If I listened to what my heart said, I always knew what I needed to know, what you need to know, all you need to know, what you need to know, all you need to know. Just listen to your heart to hear what you need to know.
All right, and we're back here on the Highwaywoman Radio Show talking with Darrell Scott. Now, Darrell, tell me a little bit about what you got going on currently. Is there anything coming up that you'd like to tell our listeners? We do have listeners all over the world, so if you're touring anywhere and people can come out and see you, let us know.
Well, let's see. I'm almost closing down my year right now. I'm like, by Thanksgiving, I will be in home mode. But up until then, I've got a Texas run coming up in November, Houston area,
All right.
San Antonio area, Fort Worth. I've also got some North Carolina gigs coming up. The best thing to do is check the website. I don't even know where my gigs are or when, but the website is very, very accurate at darrellscott.com. But right now I'm traveling in Pennsylvania, into Annapolis, Maryland. Last night I played New Jersey. Yeah, so there's still a little more road travel between now and Thanksgiving. And then something I'm really looking forward to, I'm taking most of next year off from traveling. By the time I get, home at Thanksgiving, I'm going to have a good, time home from road work.
Very cool, very cool. And we want to remind those of you, this show also runs on a station here in San Antonio, that you're going to be coming there real soon. So make sure you check the schedule and go out and see Darrell. Now, Darrell, you prefer performing acoustically, right?
Yeah.
Solo mostly when you go out. I actually prefer that, listening to that too,
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I love playing with a band, but in a way, the more players that you have, the more you need to have things arranged and figured out. And I can do that. I know how to, come up with a set list and all that kind of stuff. But I like the freedom just making it up on the spot. And again, that's kind of what Tim and I do. But I certainly do it when I'm on my own playing. I just absolutely make it up, with no set list, not knowing what the next song will be, perhaps, and that kind of thing, and or extending solos, or morphing one song into another, or doing a song in a completely different way than I've ever done it before. All that kind of stuff. I like kind of going with the flow with that. That's easier accomplished when I'm playing by myself. Well, that's how I largely show up, is with just an acoustic guitar. And if, a place has a piano, then I'll play on the piano. And I just like that. It's a lean way to do it.
Right. And do you find that you can connect on a deeper level with the audience as well sometimes with that?
Maybe so, because I think what happens is I think we all feel that this is intimate. I feel it too. And I think there's something about that intimacy thing, that certain kind of connections can be made more easily when intimacy seems to be the environment, in which it's being pulled off. And playing with other musicians and full band and all that kind of stuff brings about another kind of environment and sensibility. But there's something about that, one person kind of revealing themselves and being open to the moment, that sort of, I think it invites the audience to come in a little closer somehow. And then when that happens, then, you know, the songs may have more power or more of a way into the listener or even the performer. It does that for me, too. And so I just think that, I think your word connected is a very good word. I think that is what happens. We all feel more connected about it.
Wonderful. Well, I'm definitely coming to see you when you come to San Antonio, Darrell. And I want to play a couple more cuts. I know we got to probably get going. I know you're traveling here, but I want to feature one cut from your double album you put out in 2010.
Yeah.
I would like to play a father song. You want to tell me a little bit about that, writing that?
Yeah. I wrote that at a songwriting workshop that I was the teacher at, and I had assigned the students, and it was Father's Day weekend, so here I am, a father, you know, out on the road, you know, in this case teaching a workshop, and I assigned to all the students to write something about father, you know, either being a father or having a father or being without a father. It could be fun, it could be, you know, screaming, it could be anything you want, but I assigned that to the students, and then I woke up that morning, Father's Day morning, and I thought, well, maybe I should write something too. And so that's what I wrote, was this song called A Father's Song, and I just had it as a lyric. And then the tune that I put to it was, I grabbed the tune of my dad's. So earlier I spoke about putting lyrics to his song, or to his, putting music to his lyric. And so on this one, I had the lyric, and then I stole my dad's tune for it. He had a great song called Sunday with My Son, and it's him writing about his son, my youngest brother, and I thought it was a perfect format for this song, this lyric that I just had written on Father's Day, called A Father Song. And I think it's for people who have to travel to make their living, and of course that's me as well. So I send it out to all musicians who leave their home, you know, to play music to people and to make a living. You might recognize something in this song called A Father's Song.
Wow, that's beautiful, and I didn't know that about your dad with the song. That's wonderful. That's a full circle thing happening right there.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's so cool. All right, A Father's Song from Darrell Scott's album, A Crooked Road. Make sure you go buy that or download it, folks. Here we go.
Seek to roam, but to find me was growing. I couldn't keep it all inside. Now it's passing lanes and aerial planes and another ticket to ride. Now some dads wear a three-piece suit, others boots and gloves. Some dads are out of work, boys. I hope we face it all with love. I sing and play my music with heart and lungs and hands. This message too is brought to you by Abe and Gabe and Mahala Ann.
And we're back here on the Highwaywoman Radio Show. I've been so fortunate to have as my guest Mr. Darrell Scott, and we've been talking about his music and his new album with Tim O'Brien. Such a fantastic partnership between two solo artists who, when they come together, make musical magic. Their new album is called We're Usually a Lot Better Than This, and it's a live album, great songs from two performances, and we want to remind folks to go and download this album, buy the album, however you purchase music these days. Just make sure you get it. And also for Darrell's information, you can go to darrellscott.com and check out his schedule. Darrell, if you would, please, would you pick a remaining track for us to go out on that you would like us to play and maybe talk a little bit about it before we head out?
Sure. Let's see. How about one here? This is obscure. It's one called The Hummingbird. And it's a song I wrote about a real thing that happened, me and my younger brother when I was, 5 or 6 or something, took my dad's Gibson Hummingbird, or his Gibson guitar, let me say that, to the swamp behind our house. And this song kind of describes what happened.
All right. Darrell, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. See you in Texas.
All right. We can't wait to see you, Darrell. Here is The Hummingbird from a new album, Tim O'Brien, Darrell Scott. We're usually a lot better than this. Thank you so much, Darrell.
Catch you later.
One of these days, you know what I'll do? Get me a hummingbird guitar and a brother or two. And underneath a Kentucky moon, give him back his childhood dream. It won't make up for 32 years, and it can't dry up a swamp of tears. Oh, but it's better than a case of beer and a fifth of Jim Beam.